name is Bree Billiter. I am a fashion designer. I am living in Bed-Stuy. I'm 27 years old, and Bree Original Designs is what I do. So I have always known what I wanted to do. So I have a video when I'm 3 years old designing. My mom ran a daycare, so I was her assistant from the day I was born. So I'm really good with kids. So when I first moved here, I came without a job. So my background was in retail, but I also knew how to take care of kids. So I started nannying just to start paying the bills. And now I've had my third job in like corporate design. And that's where I'm at right now. That's what I do 9 to 5, 9 to 6. And then I come home, I plan my shoots on the weekends, I do all my shoots, and it's just nonstop going. Fashion is everything now. So I don't keep track of how long it takes to make a dress because pricing wise it would hurt, and it's also something I love doing so much, so like I want to come home and I want to do it anyway. I'm laying in bed trying to figure out like this on the dress form. I'm like, all right, what do I want to do with it? And I'll sit there for hours staring at it, because if you're an artist, it's not like it continuously happens physically, but like I'll be in bed and I'll wake up and be like, that's it, and I'll come over and I'll fix it. So it is really 24/7. It's your brain creating at all times. Costume design is kind of what I realized my end goal is. Like that's what I want, and that's where my heart lies. I figured out exactly where my place in fashion was when I saw Alice in Wonderland, the Colleen Atwood with Tim Burton, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I worked in a theater in California for a few months, and I was like, yes, I love this. This is everything. But because my education is fashion design, that's where I get my 9 to 5. So I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna have to work and get my name out there. And what's the best way to do that probably is through fashion right now. Evening wear is obviously something I love doing, but end game, it is costume design. That's where I want to be. And it's not necessarily historical, but it's that Colleen Atwood thing where she takes historical and flips it on its head. And that's what I love. That's what I want to do. So I want the wearer to outwardly show the world what they're daydreaming about. And that's, you know, when you were a little girl, what did you want to be? And then you're at your 9 to 5 job, and it's so depressing, and you're at the copying machine trying to figure out why it's not printing on the right paper. And it's like, you had these big dreams when you were little, and now you're an adult, and like, why can't you have that fantasy still? So that's where my dresses come in. And there hasn't been one time where even the nastiest of models have put on my dresses and they can't help but smile. And they live that fantasy. And I've made costumes for myself every Halloween, but the one time I was like, oh, I get why I do what I do now, is last year I made a Belle costume, and I was like, oh, this is what I want to wear every day. Like, instead of wearing like jeans and flannels, which is what I do, it's like, I wish I was wearing princess dresses every day because it feels incredible. And so I finally get like why I make the dresses I do and how the models that I put them on feel. Like, you feel like an actual princess. The biggest thing that I would love to work with is like feathers, but they're way too expensive. Like, everything is too expensive. So it's like I have to create the magic within the fabric itself. So like, this is layered fabric, but there's that magic that happens in between where like this by itself is cool, but like, and this by itself is cool, but it's not as cool as that. So I make the magic myself, but I want I want that $300 a yard fabric. My future projects would be definitely venturing into pants. So I have to get a pants dress form that has legs. They're very expensive. It's gonna be hard to get up my 4 flights of stairs, but I need it so that I can drape my pants. And then also, this is something else I'm working on, more venturing into like, once I saw the camp exhibit, I was like, oh, I can go harder. Like, if I'm already not selling dresses on the daily, let's go into what I actually want to be doing. So I'm working on this more voluminous thing. It's something more wild and doesn't have to be wearable at this point. I also discovered clear PVC, and that is allowing me to preserve things within the fabric and kind of create this otherworldly, like, you know those notebooks with the mushy? I created a dress that has that. It's somewhere in here, but basically it's that without the oil, so the glitter moves throughout it. So that led to my remake of my college crayon dress, and it's just a way to preserve things. So also for New York Fashion Week, I had a week and a half to figure this out because I came up with the idea a week and a half out. And you're supposed to dry flowers for 3 weeks minimum, I think, and I did it for like a week. And then I made a dress with real flowers inside of it, but because I didn't properly dry them, it became a ball of mold. So I have to remake that. I have the flowers in my fridge to do that. I'm gonna put it inside the PVC. And so like that's my next kind of thing where it is truly like wearable art. And I'm excited about that, but it's gonna take some time for that one, for sure. So these are my covers that I've gotten for the magazines that I have submitted to. I do photo shoots every weekend, sometimes 3 a weekend. And then during the week, I might do a couple. I lead teams between 3 to 30 people. I started last September. I get the makeup, hair, and photography mood boards all together. I get the team together, the location, the models. I work with agencies to build models' portfolios, and then I submit them to different magazines. And I think I've gotten my 30th publication recently, and that's been in 1 year. As far as trends go, I hate them. Totally anti-trend. I guess my stuff isn't necessarily classic, but I think it's ageless. I think anyone that buys something just to wear it because someone else wore it is kind of insane, and that's just not how I am. Like, I see someone else wearing something and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna wear that. So I don't necessarily follow trends at all, but I do follow the new kinds of fabrics that come out. So it's kind of, it's not trends necessarily, it's like progress in fashion and the different technologies that come out. I am a strong, independent woman, but I do think my dresses are so feminine that it's like almost offensive, where it's like so girly that you can't even think about being a strong, independent woman in them. But I think there lies the power. Like, you take it and you wear it the way you want it. And like, anyone can wear a princess dress. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Most women want to feel like a princess at some point. That's what I think. But also men, like, put it on, live the fantasy. Like, that's what I want. Like, if you're feeling the way that your soul wants to feel, go for it. And that's why I like to experiment with pants a little bit, because sometimes women just don't want to wear the froofy dress, but the pants still can give that fantasy. Like, you want to feel beautiful and you want to be in this incredible, magical moment. So put on the pants and feel, you know, that same way. But yeah, I think it is extremely girly. I grew up with Barbies. All I do is dress them, pose them, like 50 Barbies lined up for a photo shoot, and I'd get my mom's digital camera or like, you know, disposable camera, and I just take a picture of it, and that would be my full day. Like, that's all I wanted to do was dress these Barbies. So I'm a typical girly girl, but I'm also a strong, independent woman. So I take care of myself, I pay my bills, I do everything myself, I haul my 50-pound bags to all my shoots, I do everything myself. So it's like, you can be girly, but you can also be the boss.